And welcome back to the Daily Sip. Way back, changing the subject. Back in 1825, the Marquis de Lafayette presented the walking cane to then Governor Walter Leake. Now, if you head over to the Museum of Mississippi History at the two museums, you can see that walking cane for yourself, or you can see it right now. What do we got here?
Well, it's exciting to be able to see one of the most interesting artifacts in the Museum of Mississippi History, which is a silver-tipped walking cane from the Marquis de Lafayette.
Now, tell us who the Marquis de Lafayette was.
The Marquis de Lafayette was a French nobleman who came to the United States to help fight the American Revolution. And he fought with George Washington. George Washington came to see Lafayette like a son.
Wow. Now, how did his cane wind up in Mississippi?
Well, 50 years after the American Revolution, in 1824, the Marquis de Lafayette came back to the United States at the request of President James Monroe. And Lafayette at that time was the oldest surviving general from the American Revolution. Again, we're 50 years after the American Revolution. And Lafayette decided when he was here in the United States that he wanted to visit every state, all 24 of them. And so Mississippi was one of the 24 states, and that meant that the Lafayette came on the Mississippi River and stopped in the largest city, which was Natchez. And when Lafayette was in Natchez, he brought a cane as a gift to Governor Walter Leake. And that cane stayed in Governor Walter Leake's family, and this was in 1825 when he donated it 200 years ago.
Was Natchez the capital then?
Natchez was not the capital, but Mississippi, Jackson was only about 3 or 4 years old. So Jackson was too small and insignificant for Lafayette to visit at that time. Natchez was the largest city. This is 1825, and in 1910, the great-granddaughter of Governor Walter Leake donated the silver-tipped walking cane to the Mississippi Department of Archives and History.
Wow, how neat. So what are your feelings about having this in our collection? Tell me the significance of us having it instead of France or Washington, D.C. or the Smithsonian or something like that.
Well, one of the great things about this walking cane is it's not a replica. It's the actual cane that the Marquis de Lafayette had in his hand as a gift when he was in Mississippi. And as we get ready for America 250 in 2026 next year, this is a tangible connection from Mississippi to the American Revolution. When the Marquis de Lafayette, this hero of two worlds, Europe and North America, actually came to the state of Mississippi.
You're saying this is a big deal?
It's a really big deal. I get excited every time I walk past this cane, and it's an example of how every artifact tells a story.